We are here for the third installment of the Energetics to Anchor Columns of Light, which we started Friday night with the Chalice Attunement. And is there anybody that's here now that was not here for the Chalice Attunement? Okay, cool. We'll definitely hit that again. So the columns of light that we use, I spoke a little bit yesterday about being a water operator, and we anchor columns of light. A column of light will stay for 8 days until you put your attention back onto it. And a column of light is really fantastic because it's the energy of earth, sky, your intentions. But when we discovered, we were trying to create a dowsing tool, a dowsing rod, that would do everything that professional dowsers do. Move geopathic, geomagnetic lines, close portal vortexes, crossover entities, waywards, ghosts, all the stuff, as well as finding energy fields. So when we were looking for, when we were trying to create, my sister and I, a dowsing rod that would do all that for us, we ended up discovering this ancient etheric tool, which we call the golden light rod. It is a light rod that's about this tall, 18 to 24 inches, and it's a gold color, and it has other colors associated with it, and sound, and it's fuzzy, vibraty. It's a tool that will clear timelines and realities for a person. You can sit with this and do a meditation and clear timelines and realities for yourself. You can also use it to move geopathic lines and also move geomagnetic lines. You can use it to close portal vortexes. So as all of the tools that we create at Twisted Sage Studios, we create these physical tools, like even the tensor rings, that are cut to a very specific measurement. These are antennas that connect to those higher dimensional tools. So like our tensor rings and the wands, we cut to the 100,000ths of a centimeter. It's a very specific measurement. This measurement is the STU, the standard Teotihuacan unit. It is a unit of measure that was used to align all the temple complex in Teotihuacan as well as other megalithic structures on the planet. So it's an ancient, all the tensor tools and the tools that we create are based on ancient tools because they're ancient measurements that came originally from the Great Pyramids, where the original tensor rings. So anyway, this golden fire and light rod that we see, the energetic etheric aspect, it's the soul that actually holds that one, while the human is holding this physical anchor, this antenna to that tool. And so I'm going to give you guys the attunement today of this golden light rod that we'll use when we're anchoring columns of light. So the columns of light, now that's something that I actually travel all over teaching columns of light and how to anchor these. Plus we have a ton of YouTube videos. But what we are doing with the columns of light is also bringing through the sacred heart, the golden fire. So we're going to do that activation again today too, is activating that sacred heart that you always see Jesus and Mary depicted with beyond religion. It is something that the human has the propensity to carry. And so when we activate this golden fire, the sacred heart, and then we're anchoring this column of light with this ancient etheric tool, we're also bringing through the golden fire. Now the golden fire from the heart, that sacred heart, that golden fire is what we are seeing is harmonizing even 5G millimeter waves, let alone just the regular 5G stuff. We're talking about the heavy duty millimeter waves that people got all in fear about with 5G. And so not only is it doing that with the golden fire, but the golden fire will cross over a ghost or a wayward, as we call them, because they're a disincarnate being who had the free will choice to not cross over when they died. And so when we're working with these ghosts, or waywards as we like to call them, those who find their way home, we used to have to do healing work with them, open a portal to source, talk them into going across. Anymore with the golden fire, when any being, carnate or incarnate or disincarnate, comes into this field of the golden fire, their soul steps in to activate the sacred heart. So for a ghost, a wayward, when the soul steps in, it just takes them across. You don't have to do the talking them into it. You don't have to do the healing work. The soul just does it. So these columns of light, you can anchor them into cemeteries, into old houses, into, old neighborhoods that just feel kind of funky. you just anchor a column of light there. Hospitals is a great place too to catch waywards. So then the other thing with the golden fire and how it restructures electromagnetics, we can anchor these columns of light into cell phone towers. Now, we used to create a grid system called the Global Love and Gratitude Grid, where we connected these columns of light, but we can make it simpler and easier by just using this wand in our intentions visualization. It's a simple process that we'll go through here in a minute. And when we anchor these into a cell phone tower, it is then bringing through the frequencies of love and gratitude on the waves of the cell phone, so on the waves of the communication towers. So it is harmonizing those electromagnetic fields to be beneficial. Because like with our cell phones produce a disharmonious field that is non-beneficial, because everything in this physical universe is electromagnetic. Our heart is a huge electromagnetic generator, but we are in coherence. That's why when we bring a discoherent energy in, it disrupts our coherency as an electromagnetic being. So our cell phone tabs that we put on there, and you don't need a cell phone tab. You can run unconditional love into your phone, muscle test it before and after. When you run unconditional love into your phone from the heart space, you shift your phone into a beneficial healing device. That's exactly what our tensor rings are doing if you don't feel like you can do the energy work. But you should do the energy work. But this is really what these tools are for, is training wheels to help us to be able to do these things. So I'm up here selling you this rod, I'm up here selling you on your self-empowerment, and with your cell phone too. So when you are, so you can get really creative with these columns of light. So we got cell phones, we have cell phone towers, communication towers, and we have for ghost waywards. You can also drop this into non-beneficial grid points. When we used to do the clearing of the state capitol grids, the church grids, all of that, we use columns of light. And we are able to then transform a grid system. So, if you're traveling to Washington, D.C. or someplace in the UK and you see all these obelisks and they feel kind of strange, you can anchor a column of light. And the beautiful thing about doing the work with the columns of light is that we are doing it on a soul level. If it is not in the highest and best good as determined by our soul, it's not going to happen. So that's the beautiful thing about working on a soul level, is that you don't have to make the determinations of what is in the highest and best and try to interpret that answer. You are in the sacred space of the heart. You're working with your soul, because it's only the soul that can wield this energy. We are just the intention holders and the attention holders. So let's see. The other uses for the columns of light. What we can use it for healing work. Waterways is a huge one. As I discussed yesterday, how I anchored a column of light into a water tower, I could see how it shifted the water in the tower through the water lines into the person drinking it and back out into the land. So water towers is a phenomenal place. You can also anchor these columns of light into a body of water, into a stoplight, a school. What we're going to do today, and just think about this here, because in about 5-10 minutes we're actually going to do our column of light, is think of a spot that you want to anchor a column of light, like in your house, a private spot where you can go, and the purpose of this column of light is for you to be able to feel it on the physical and the emotional and the alignments that take place. So we're going to have you anchor a column of light probably about 3 feet across that is in a very specific spot in your house or in your yard. So that way, when you get home, you can step in and out of this column of light to feel it. And then once you can feel that tangible effect of that energy field, then our mind is like, okay, this is real, we can do this. Another thing you can do with the columns of light to make it real for you is when you get home too, you can take 2 containers of water, tap water is the best, take 1 container of water and sit it over here, another container of water, sit it over here, anchor a column of light into one of those. The next morning, do a taste test, and you will be able to taste and feel the difference in the water. And then once we have our mind convinced that, hey, this is real, what we're doing, Then we can go out into the world and just be anchoring light everywhere. So when I traveled 1,101 miles across country to get here. And during that time, I run into a lot of cell phone towers and a lot of just everything. And so I train myself that wherever I look, I just take my 3 breaths and anchor that column of light. These columns of light, unlike the original ones that will only hold for 8 days, these columns of light will hold indefinitely if is needed. They will stay for as long as is needed. So we'll go ahead and begin with the activations. What we're going to do is we'll go through into the sacred space of the heart, because anytime we do any energy work, we need to move our consciousness from the head into the heart. When we are in the head, we're kind of powerless. We run on what empowers our creation from the head is usually fear, survival, necessity. When we are in the sacred space of the heart, and when we create, we are empowered by all that we are, as well as everything is always in the highest and best good when we're in the sacred space of the heart, because we're working with our soul. So here we go. We call this the Trinity breath of going into the heart space. Super simple, easy. And I'll tell you the way that I do it, you make it your own, is you can do this in one breath, just taking the breath and going into the heart space. We want this process to be simple and easy for you, and just I'll keep walking you guys through it here, and then just make it your own. So to begin, we just close our eyes. Closing your eyes is easier. You can leave them open if you wish. Putting your attention to your physical heart. Within your heart is your light, your soul's fire. Just imagining going heart to heart with the earth and breathing in that light of the earth right up through the feet and into the heart. Next, we connect with the heart of creation, source, soul, creator, God, central sun. We breathe in that light into the heart. The third breath of the Trinity breath is breathing in both earth and sky, bringing both those energies together within your heart and mixing that light of source and of the earth and of you. You are the Trinity. You stand in the heart space, grounded and connected. Next, imagine soul before you. Your soul comes in, puts its hand on your heart, and activates that sacred heart, the golden fire. Just take that deep breath in. And then as your heart ignites of that golden light, that golden fire, you can imagine that going into every cell of the body, in between every cell. We bring that golden light up to the throat, and then right up to the pineal gland, right in the middle of the brain, and we set our pineal gland on fire. As you do, we witness these infinities go into the left and right brain hemisphere, the figure 8 on its side. It's just connecting the left and right brain hemispheres, infinity after infinity. And next we connect up higher to the higher mind, to the quantum mind. As we connect with that infinity up to that higher mind, we go higher beyond the mind to the field of universal peace, to the field of all-knowing. This is where our soul brings in that chalice energy, that crystal clear, pure light consciousness. We just allow the body to be that chalice, the carrier for this crystal clear, pure light that the soul will bring in for you. Beautiful. All right. So now then, opening your physical eyes in the space that you're at right now. And see what it's like being in this world and in your heart space at the same time. You'll notice that everything might look different. You might notice that your thoughts slowed down, that you don't have the fear, the anxiety, whatever it all is, because you're in the heart space. We can get taken out of the heart space pretty easy. Get cut off in traffic, boom, you're out of the heart space. And it's an exercise. So the more you do this Trinity breath, or in a single breath, the easier it is to get there. And when we can actually live from the heart, that's when we're creating a whole new world. But let's next do the attunement to the golden fire and light rod. Now, you'll just use your imagination, your visualization, and if you don't have a great imagination or visualization, it's your intention, and I will be there to help you, as will everybody else here in our circle. And so we're going to make sure that you receive the attunement to this golden fire and light rod, because it's really your soul that's receiving the attunement. So here we go. We're going to close our eyes again and just take those 3 breaths. You're still in the heart space, but just for sake of learning the process, just taking that breath from the earth, that breath from creation, bringing them both together within the heart, so you are a column of light, grounded, connected, and in the heart space. Now imagine that I'm standing before you, handing you this golden light rod. It could be that etheric tool that you see, or maybe it's just this brass rod. But just imagine yourself, your soul, holding on to this golden fire and light rod. Okay, now we're going to go to that space that you want to anchor your column of light. Our intention is to make this column of light only about 3 feet wide, just so that when you step in and out of it, you'll be able to feel that difference. So pick that place in your home or your yard where you're going to play with your column of light. Imagine yourself standing there. As you imagine yourself standing in that space and place, you're holding this golden light rod, and it's like you're taking those 3 breaths right there. You and this ancient etheric tool are both becoming a column of light. You're grounded into the earth. You have the support of Gaia. You are connected to Source. You have that connection with creation. So as that column of light is there, it is also bringing through that golden fire of the Sacred Heart. And it is also bringing through that energy of the chalice, that crystal clear, pure consciousness light. So all of those energies are together right there, as simple as that. Now then step out of that space and leave that column there. As you come back to here, then just open your eyes again, just so that you are feeling that blending of this world and being in the heart space. So it is really, truly that simple. If you would like to learn more on that process or go through it again and find it in different ways, on our YouTube we have called Light Anchoring 3.0. You can actually just Google Light Anchoring 3.0. Or else you can go to the website twistedsage.com, and under resources there's a whole page for light columns. So if you just go to the resources page, you'll find light columns there. And there's that video, Light Anchoring 3.0, that will pretty much walk you through the exact same process we did. The only difference is now we're bringing through that chalice energy, that crystal clear, pure consciousness light. And so now then for the homework is to just go home and play with where you anchored that column of light, stepping in and out of it, just to see if you can feel that. And then doing that water test is a phenomenal one too. You know, you can put your glass of water in your column that you already have there and one outside of the column and let it sit overnight, and then try that taste test. But to anchor the columns of light, again, this is your process. So I just kind of gave you the guidelines on how we received it and how we do it, and you just make it your own, because we want this to be simple. So don't complicate things, make it as simple as you possibly can. Again, you can just use your imagination now when you're in the heart space and just pretending to hold out this rod. You can even hold a pen if you need something to visualize. And what I would do when I first start is, I imagine a cell phone tower before me, and I'll hold my wand or my pen or whatever it is, and I'll hold it up to that cell phone tower, and I'll imagine that cell phone tower is just doing the Trinity breath. It is becoming that column of light that's grounded, connected, brings the golden light of this tool through, brings the golden fire of the Sacred Heart, and brings that chalice energy from creation. And that is all right there. and then that's all you do. It's just that simple of an imagination visualization. And that's really why it seems so simple, and that's really why I want you guys to be able to feel these columns of light so that you can be like, hey, this truly is real. And when we see miracles happen, we do it through simplicity. Miracles don't happen through complicated things. It's simple. It's from the heart. It's from creation, and it's divine. Do you guys have any questions on the process here, or any questions at all on this? Yes, ma'am. So the question was like a moving vehicle. Yes. So if you were going to anchor a column of light in your car, you can totally do that. Just have that intention that that's anchoring into your car, and it just stays with your car. So like when you're laying down at night, if you feel like you need a horizontal column of light, you could totally make a horizontal column of light. And then for like the size of your light column, for me, my light columns are always about 20 feet across. That's just the way they always end up. And sometimes I can't get them to grow any bigger. My sister, she can make one wide as a state. You know, she's like, oh, it's just all in your belief system. You know, my belief system is still only allowing me 20 feet, but that's plenty to do the work. Electrical substations is another phenomenal place to anchor your columns of light, because these are working with electromagnetics. So if you have a hydroelectric place or a wind tower, any place where you see the giant, where all the lines are coming in, there's the giant transformers inside of the fenced in places, anchor a column of light there, and that will travel through and restructure the electrical as it goes everywhere. So you can, when you anchor this column of light in your house or into the green transformer box out on your lawn, you're doing exactly what our tools are doing, is that they are holding that high vibration space for the transformation of those discoherent electromagnetics into something that is coherent and beneficial for us. Yes, sir. Gotcha. So the question was about anchoring the columns of light for electrical and what all effects take place that we've measured. And we have not done the measurement on any of these effects, like the pulsing that you were mentioning, because we're not experts in the electrical. What we're working with is the consciousness of electricity, and not necessarily any of the components of how electrical works. When we see the electrical fields, we'll see them as and feel them as disharmonious or harmonious, one or the other. So when we're doing the work either with our copper energy tools or with the columns of light, all we do is we feel the difference that occurs with those fields. But it would be very interesting and very beneficial if somebody actually did do some kind of a measurable, for science, for the mind, of some kind of a measurable data for electrical. That would be phenomenal. We have noted, well, we've had a lot of customers note, and if you go to our website too, we have thousands of positive testimonials on there. Some of the testimonials are about people who put these on their electrical panels, and it reduces their electrical bill by half. Slim Sperling, he was my mentor after he passed. Slim would always used to put rings over gas tanks and claim that it brought better gas mileage. What we're seeing is that when you put a ring over your fuel tank and you're fueling up, it's not the tensor field that's giving you better gas mileage, it is you as a creator. We're so flippin' powerful, you guys. We really are. And when we're creating up here, again, we're just creating out of fear, necessity, survival, instincts, all the stuff. So that's why that sacred space of the heart is so important when we step into doing any of the energy work in the creation. So let's just, another question. So the question was if it can be misused. And, nope. It is all heart-based technology that is working with the soul. And so we can never do wrong when we're anchoring a column of light. Yes, ma'am. So, a column of light over Congress. And the thing is, when we go to do some of the work, it's it's kind of the whole concept of how do we determine what is in the highest and best good from the human perspective. You can certainly put an anchor of light over Congress, and only what is in the highest and best good for each individual is what's going to occur. So when we try to make shifts and changes in the world, we're holding space for that which is in the highest and best as determined by the soul and not from what our perspective is. And so that's another thing, is when we do that energy work from the heart space and we create that column of light, if it's in the highest and best, it will do the job. Oh, and I just had to mention, yes, it cannot interfere with free will. Yep, it never interferes with another soul path. Any other questions? Oh, the website. The website is twistedsage.com. So on twistedsage.com, if you go to the resources page, there is a lot of information there. And again, there's the light anchors. There's the Merkaba activation. The Merkaba is a huge one too that you'll find there. It creates an electromagnetic field around the body, and you can program it if you have hypersensitivities to electromagnetics or other weird stuff that comes in and attaches all the time. Activate your Merkaba field. It is a programmable electromagnetic field, and it is a natural field to the human. So you'll find that too, the Merkaba, because that's also on our resources page. So let's just do this one more quick time of doing the Trinity breath and visualizing a light anchor somewhere. So this time, your place that you put it, you can put another light anchor. Let's not do one at your home or where you put the other one. So let's maybe do one at a school or a local cell phone tower or your community water tower. Pick the place that you'd like to do. And when you do pick a place, kind of like if you're going to pick Congress, you want to stick with something that doesn't throw you out of the heart space. So pick a place that you can be in your heart when you're doing this. So that way we don't fall into fear and anger and stuff. So let's do this one more time. Close your eyes if you wish, putting your attention to your physical heart, breathing in that light of the earth into the heart, breathing in that light of creation into the heart. As they both come in together, it expands your light. You are grounded, connected, and in the heart space. Now imagine where you're going to put your column of light. You're standing there, you're holding up your rod. However you do it, maybe you stick it into the earth. It's the intention of it connecting with the heart of earth, the heart of creation. The golden fire is in there. Your light, the chalice energy, it's all there. Then you step away and let it be. And it is that simple. You can do this driving down the interstate in anchor columns of light everywhere you go. And again, I look forward to hearing some feedback from you guys too. Please do send some feedback if you are finding stuff with this column of light. And because that's why we like our testimonials on our website, is because then we can see how other people are doing the work, and we can see that other people are actually having results with this. So anyway, this is in one more quick thing. Every time you anchor a column of light, you raise the light quotient of the planet. We are connecting in a direct line from creation to the heart of the earth. And so whenever we do our work, we are that conduit, and we are raising the light quotient of this planet as we raise our own. And then every column of light, we're doing the same. So anyway, thank you guys for participating in this. I look forward to you doing that work. you.